Hello, this is Mass, and I'm going to be doing a Conquest Battle Report, 2,000 points. The lists are in front of you. I'm going to be playing 100 Kingdoms in Dynastic Alliance with a priority commander as my Warlord, taking 2 units of Order of the Crimson Tower. My Dynastic Alliance Warlord is the Imperial Officer, who's decked out with a standard Baron armor of Dominion. He is taking Merc Crossbows, Men-at-Arms, and then 2 6-block units of Steel Legion with Drill Master. My opponent is taking a Matriarch Crane. He is playing Wadrhun. He's in Famine, Death Gaze, Mental Devotion, and he's got Long Lineage. He's taking a 6-block of Braves. He's taking Min, Warbred, and Blooded, and an Apex Predator. His second character is a Predator who has Death Kiss. He's in Death. He has a Kiss of Disthorn. He's in Hunt 1, Marksman, Conquest 1 and 2. He's got Raptor Riders, 6 Blooded with a Champion, and then 2 minimum units of Slingers with the Flint Napper. The scenario we will be playing today is Scenario 4, Exenol. It's got 2 12-inch zones across from each player's deployment, a friendly objective for each player, and then 2 neutral objectives. Zones can't be captured until turn 4. Neutral objectives cannot be destroyed until turn 3, and the friendly objectives can only be killed by your opponent. So, here on turn 1, this is the end of turn 1. With my list, I only have 1 light, what is the Merc Crossbows down here. I deployed them kind of centrally because my opponent just drew his Predator card and said go. So I just kind of was like, well, here you go. Here's a nice, line of fire over here and over here. You can kind of shoot at some stuff. As other things kind of come into zones and have fights, maybe in these woods or over here, the Merc Crossbows can provide supporting fire. With that, my opponent counter-deployed pretty heavily, but also took up some good board space to start setting that line of engagement and controlling the board. He's got his Raptor Riders on this flank here, coming up over here to probably try and get into my zone. He's got this middle unit of Slingers to contest the middle, and then he's got his left side Slingers with the Predator character to come up this side. Overall, he's in a really strong position here, and I'm pretty sure I kind of leave my Merc Crossbows about here to not die to this as they come up at me. But that's the end of turn 1. Let's see what happens on the end of turn 2. Here we are, we got turn 2. I only have one medium as well, so guess who comes on? The Men-at-Arms. They're just towing the back of the zone. They can move 16 inches at the start because of the Imperial Officer's Supremacy ability. However, the Raptor Riders are over here coming in to shoot them with their range 12 guns. They can contest this zone. They have a lot of threat projection and movement with these Raptor Riders, so I don't really want to give him anything, and the whole point of these Men-at-Arms is to really just sit in my zone and score me points. As mentioned above, or last turn, we had the Slingers on both sides. The one on the left did move up into the woods here. The one on the right, I think, moved up a little, but currently him and I are just placing chicken with each other because we have the same range. However, this unit over here is probably going to get in and start shooting us next turn. And I think I moved up just like an inch or two, or just like half an inch out of his range. For another, the mediums that came on, I don't think he got any of his other mediums except for the auto medium that comes on, and he chose his min unit of Blooded that are doing the same thing I was doing. Let's just sit at the back of my zone, or back of his zone, because he doesn't really need to commit them just yet. And that's the end of turn 2. Here we are at the end of turn 3. This is when I start getting my heavies in. The majority of my list is heavies, compared to his was just majority mediums. His Queen with his big block of Braves are still in his deployment back here. They're not on the table yet. Same with his Dino. And now he is coming for me. So, as you can see in the middle, my Merc Crossbows moved up, shot his Slingers. This stand is at 1 health left, and then his Slingers decided to just eliminate the Merc Crossbows because they do morale checks around range, which is super absurd. My Men-at-Arms sat back here. Still no reason to move them. I counter-deployed my a block of Steel Legion onto these Raptors over here. Like, they ran 16 inches up, and we're about like 3 inches away from his Raptors, and he's like, well, I charge in because I'm not going to ever escape you. And I'm like, yep. So he did a little bit of damage there, as you can see. Took about 7 health. But next turn, I'm going to wipe out this unit of Raptors, and then I'm going to start making my way around here and try and hit the side of his big block of Blooded who will hopefully be out of position when my cavalry comes onto the table, who I hope to just kind of like run up the middle here, because then it's like a pincer maneuver between the Steel Legion, the cavalry, and this objective, what's going to be really annoying for him. Over here, he's got his, once again, his Blooded. Back here, his Warbred Hop the Blooded to get over them so that he can, start getting them to do work and kill my Steel Legion. My Steel Legion just took a ton of shots from these slingers, and because they do morale, they took a bunch of damage. But, they're making their way. Once they get there, though, this unit of slingers should go down. And that's the end of turn 3. Alright, end of turn 4. Big things happen. So all the units from my opponent are deployed on the table. I'm still missing one of my units of Crimson Towers cavalry. Steel Legion on the right here. But took out those raptors. Now they're going to make their journey all the way around. Crimson Towers here kind of hiding behind the forest so that these slingers right here can't shoot them because the forest is size 2. My guys are size 2. He can't draw line of sight to me. My men-at-arms still hiding out the back of the zone. There's still no reason to bring them forward. Right now, we'll find out what happens to them later. So over here's a big one on the left flank. My Steel Legion are still getting pelted by slingers and are not in combat. So I need to roll a 5 with a reroll to get them into combat and clash, and I took it, and I probably shouldn't have. Mostly because it's not that great for a dice roll. Like, yeah, you got it, but like what I really should have done is I should have moved, and then I should have charged them just to get engaged, so that the unit is still alive. Because right now they are in real bad shape. Like, they've lost a lot of bodies, and you got the Apex on the left here who's going to come and hit him. You get the Warbred here on the right here who's going to come and hit him. It's not going to be fancy for the Steel Legion. I'm going to have to deploy my other unit of Crimson Towers. We're going to go through this rough terrain where we agreed it was going to be a 6 to cause a wound. But, yeah, it's not pretty on this left flank. Like, I've lost the unit of more crossbows. This unit of Steel Legion's probably going to die. Like, it's not looking really good for me, but he's in a really good spot. We'll see how this goes the next turn. End of turn 4. Alright. Here we are at the end of turn 5. This does get better for me. So, that unit of Steel Legion was over here, did charge into these slingers, do some damage. Now, I believe there's 2 health left on this slingers. And I did get my character to duel his character, and then I think they both hit each other for like 2 damage and then sat there and were like, oh, I don't know what to do. But his Warbred did come in from the side over here and slam in and kill me. He set up his Apex to countercharge these Crimson Towers that came out here. With these Crimson Towers, I'm hoping to just charge in and kill these Warbred, and then hopefully, next turn charge in and kill these slingers, and then we'll find out about this dinosaur. Who knows what that thing's going to do. My men-at-arms finally moved up. They moved up right here. They're just positioning right now at the edge of the zone so that my opponent can't get into it after he kills his objective, because this objective is getting pretty low. I'm hoping that, he kills it and then sits there, and my Steel Legion just come inside and kill them all. With the Crimson Towers in the middle, what they did is they came in, killed the slingers, and then they ran away. They just backed up. That's mostly depending on who goes first next turn. If he brings his big block of Braves in, I could get a charge in with my men-at-arms. Like, it allows my men-at-arms to support better. It allows also kind of brings maybe his Blooded closer, and I get the men-at-arms to fight those guys. I don't really want to get off the objective, because right now my opponent and I are neck and neck for points. However, that's going to change once this objective goes down and he goes up 3 compared to us staying neck and neck. Hopefully my Steel Legion get in there and fight them. And that's the end of turn 5. Alright, end of turn 6. On the left here, Crimson Towers killed the Warbred. They're gone. Don't need them. They're not around anymore. Doing great. However, the slingers did go into them, and he positioned his dino. He might have been able to just charge through, land here, and then just go to town on them, but I guess you have to not to. We still have that contesting scoring unit in the back there. My Crimson Towers did a phenomenal job. Killed all the big block of Braves with their impact and then clash, and just did a ton of damage and broke and then shattered them. However, my opponent, with his Blooded, did kill the objective, and then he charged into the side of my Crimson Towers. My Steel Legion kind of, wiggled their way around, but now they're in prime setup to hit them in the back and hopefully wipe out this unit or weaken all of his attacks. My Men-at-Arms could have charged them, but I still need to maintain that score between these two zones. My opponent is currently up by 1 point because he got 3 for the objective, but I got 2 for killing his Warlord. So it's really going to be decided by who can get into whose zone first, and I'm hoping that the Steel Legion comes in, hits those Blooded, kills them, and then my Crimson Towers can just run around this building and get into the back. Alright, and that's the end of turn 6. End of turn 7 here. Crimson Towers, on the left, they fought and killed the Slingers and the Predator. The Apex came in. This was my Supremacy turn, so the Apex had to deal with Blessed and only killed one of the Riders. So right now, it's just a dinosaur versus a dude on a horse. That guy's gonna die. He's not doing much anymore. My opponent is kind of bringing up his Blooded right now to kind of get into the zone. And as you can see on the right here, my Crimson Towers and my Steel Legion have fought the Blooded till there's only 2 stands left. I know my opponent chanted a bunch right here and buffed up his Blooded to do a ton of damage to my Crimson Towers, but with that bonus from Blessed, really held them off and not do a super ton of damage. And then, yeah, Men-at-Arms are still here doing nothing. My opponent is thinking, so we talked about it later at this game, that once I'm done with these Blooded, I'm going to reform and head this way to go for the Dino or to, go into his zone. But what he doesn't know is that I'm actually going to be going over here and then to the back. So I'm going to, march up, and then I'm going to do a charge impact attack and hopefully do a ton of damage because I need to get into that zone. That is the way to victory for this game because we're currently at turn 7, and we only got, 3 rounds left. Alright, end of turn 7. Alright, turn 8. So this is kind of when we called it end of turn here. I have now started... Well, I've started scoring both these zones. This is really big for me because this is going to get me 6 points a turn, 2 from each zone and then 2 for having both. Steel Legion wiped up that Blooded. Crimson Towers did move around and hit the impact attacks from behind this building and wiped out that other Blooded unit and now are in that zone. The Men-at-Arms are slowly shifting this way in case the Apex kind of wants to come over here, but it's really far, and at this point, he's kind of down on points, and I'm just going to score above him. His Apex did kill my Crimson Tower, but at this point, it doesn't matter. I'm up on points, we don't have very many turns left, and I can either stall or run away. We called at this point, and that's the end of the game. My last shot here is just showing, start of 9. I did bump it up, and this is where we kind of called it. I ended with 16 points to his 11. Overall, a good game. I really appreciate my opponent and what he played. It was really close for a couple spots, and I was really nervous at the start, but as my heavies got to the table and hit into his mediums, it seemed to clear up his stuff very effectively. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.